Thought I'd bring you along for morning chores. G'day there, I'm Dana from Pewaka Valley Homestead, and I've got quite a few things to do this morning, and I thought I'd bring you along for the ride. First up, we're going to go feed our pigs and Snowball the rabbit. We'll come back and feed her in a minute. I'm always worried that the pigs are going to bust through a fence or something. They're always so desperate for food, despite the fact that they're currently in a paddock absolutely full of food. But you can see them. Oh no, I'm hooked on the bird cage. You can see them, they're always waiting for me. They leap up onto the fence. They're absolute nutcases, considering you can barely see them in the grass. Unfortunately, with all the rain we've had, they've started rooting up again, but thankfully they've not done most of the paddock. Now this is my food forest area, and I have been trying to keep on top of the grass, believe it or not, but I've actually just kind of given up. I figure whatever will grow, and the reality is you can't do everything, and so I'm going to just let the pigs in here intermittently to eat down the grass, and I'm going to wait to plant any more sort of side plants until such a time as either I can actually keep on top of the grass, or the trees have grown up enough to start blocking some of the grass growth, because I just don't have time in my life to be weeding a patch this size. And one thing on our place, we're all about efficiency, so I have got the rabbit food right here, and I actually have taken to keeping the rice knife in with the rabbit food to make harvesting so much easier, and it's one less thing that I have to carry out and bring back inside every day. Usually when I'm up here I collect enough grass to feed all the rabbits down the hill as well, but I've got so much stuff to carry down today that I can't carry a big armful of grass. Oops, he's slipping on the roof. I can't carry a big armful of grass as well, so I will just cut them some while I'm down there. And say hi to Miss Snowball. I need to reach in her cage and find her a container for her pellets. Luckily this thing shuts with a wire that happens to have a big old hook on the end, and I very cleverly gave her a bowl with handles for her pellets. Now it is entirely possible to feed rabbits without using pellets, and I have done it in the past. I have used a combination of grain and lucerne, also known as alfalfa, hay or chaff depending on what we had available, but at the moment we've decided to keep using the pellets because they have got a coccostat in it, which is actually just a synthetic vitamin that the rabbits aren't affected by, but it stops coccidiosis from affecting them. So there are some things that you can feed them that are higher in protein that they really enjoy. This weed here conveniently is called bird's foot trifoil, I think it is, and it's a legume. It's really high in protein, and conveniently it grows wild all over here, and it makes a really good feed for them. It's actually closely related to alfalfa. Now one thing that did happen yesterday was that Big Spot, our goat, had her babies. Unfortunately she chose not to come home the night before and had them in the early hours of the morning, and my kids thankfully heard the babies when they were out feeding the animals in the morning and went and found them. She had twins. She had a wee girl and a wee boy. Unfortunately the boy was born, he was incredibly weak and didn't breathe well right from the beginning. I need to fix that latch. So we caught them and we have them penned up and we took the wee boy inside and warmed him up, and I came down and milked Big Spot, which was a bit more of a challenge than I anticipated. She's never been milked before. Her udder is massive, but yeah, this is her first baby, so she'd never been milked before. So it was a wee bit of a challenge getting her to stand still. We don't have a milking stanchion anymore because I kind of gave up milking the goats. So I ended up putting a collar on her and just tying her to our fence, and then putting her baby right in front of her so that she would stand still. She obviously thought that her baby was feeding and she just let me milk her. So anyway, the baby boy, I gave him some colostrum, we warmed him up, but unfortunately he passed within an hour or two, which is really sad, but unfortunately it is kind of how farm life is. She obviously knew there was something a bit wrong with him because she didn't pay him much attention at all, whereas she's been all over this baby girl. So we have a baby girl. Can you see her over the back there asleep? And this is Big Spot. We had them penned up a bit separately just in case, but she seems to be feeding really well. I might see if I can get a little more milk off Big Spot today. Just her udders are looking really tight. The other thing I need to do is clean out these feed bins that the goats have got along here. And they've got drainage holes in them, but unfortunately they've kind of clogged up, and that means that what's left in there is just a gross sludge of a mixture of grain and water and sludgy stuff. So I'm just going to re-drill those and scrape them out so that they're not so nasty. The problem is I don't know if I can do that while I'm holding a camera, so I might just sit you down somewhere and get on with things. So this is our new little baby girl. Isn't she so cute and little? She is 3/4 Boer and 1/4 Nubian. So she's got the big long droopy ears. But they're cute Boer markings. But it is quite a bit lighter than a normal Boer goat. Boer, however you want to say it. So I'm going to bring her over here and see if I can't milk her mum a little bit more. Seems a little bit crazy to be milking her and not keeping it, but her udders are so full that her teats are massive and the baby can't latch on. So I've taken the pressure off and she's having a bit of a feed now. Slight change of plan. She doesn't seem all that interested to go out with everybody else, so we're just going to leave them in here together for today. And I'll bring her some hay to eat. Right, those bins are looking significantly less gross now, and they're all upright and not lying down. It amazes me just how strong those goats are, and they always seem to clamber up on top of them waiting for some grain, which is ridiculous. There's no way they're hungry, but it's how we call them home at night. We get them home with a little bit of grain, and so they're always there waiting for it. Alright, so we're going to take this colostrum round to the other pigs, and I will show you the rabbits. Oh, the other thing we've got is this used to be our goat house, and everything is really muddy at the moment because we have had a phenomenal amount of rain. So these guys are all hiding inside and not out in their run where they should be. But we've got about 50 odd chickens in there. They do have a run. Oh, apparently you can't shut this latch one-handed. One moment, please. So they are all waiting. They'll be ready for their new homes in a few weeks. And we'll be keeping probably about half of them to replace some of our older ones in our laying flock. Right, we'll get all this gear out of here and lock this gate so she doesn't end up down in my orchard. Now we have had like 2 weeks of pretty much solid rain, considering it's supposedly summer, so everything is so wet and muddy. So wet and muddy. Now, before I go into the second rabbit house, I'm going to show you the mini lops, because at the moment I have some rabbits in isolation, so I'm being really careful about who goes in there and when they go in there, and I'm being really careful not to go in here wearing the shoes that I wore in there. But I'll show you these baby mini lops. They're super cute. Now, for those that are wondering, this used to be our meat rabbit colony shed. Oh, and I'm going to have to change the settings on the camera. As I was saying, this used to be our meat rabbit colony shed, and the children have overtaken it with their mini lops. They breed mini lops as their pocket money. I don't have spare money to be giving my children pocket money. Like, if you want pocket money, you need to earn your keep. And so this is what we have. And this is the buck's cage, which he's currently not in. He managed to escape, so we've just let him hang out with everybody else. That's him, the light frosty one over there. And we've got some little babies here somewhere too. I'm just not sure. Now it's my children's job to feed these guys, and apparently they were just bringing more and more water bottles down here rather than taking any of them back. Oh look, here they are. These wee fellas are about 4 weeks old. They're so big cute. My plans for in here is actually take down that dividing wall used to keep the buck in the other side until both the bucks and the does and the babies all worked out how to bust through it. So we're going to take that wall down, and I want to put some cages along that back wall for my meat rabbits. Just put some hutches along that back wall as well. May as well make the most of the vertical space as well as the floor. I'll go and throw some food to these ducks and the pigs. Oh, I had more pig food. What have I done with it? I've got a whole container of pig food. I just simply didn't have enough hands today to bring everything down, so I had to do a few trips. I think the pigs know I'm coming. Can you hear them? Oops. Throw some grain in. They get these guys get our food scraps from the house, as well as a little bit of grain every morning. Not nearly as much as what the girls do up the top. The girls up the top will be for the freezer one day, so we're trying to feed them up a little bit more. Look at that. It's actually the duck food, but the pigs have a good old time eating it too. Ideally, I would find some kind of stick to mix this up, but I don't know if I'm going to find one. Now you have to forgive the big muddy mess that is down here. You can see there how much there's water flowing down here. This whole path was covered in mud like this from the chickens scratching it from up there, and we just haven't got around to cleaning it, and the water has done it for us. There's been so much water, it's like dug itself a little trench along here, and hence the massive puddle in the trench over here. There's just been so much water. So if you haven't met these guys before, this big ginger one, that's Straw, she's one of our gilts. She'll be hopefully our breeding sow. The big black fella at the back, that's Sticks, and then the wee feisty one, that's Bricks. She'll be our other breeding sow. And my great plan down here is to build them a pen for the winter, so that they don't root up the ground and make a massive mess like they did last year. But you can see here, this is all just water runoff, and it's just made everything so muddy, so muddy. So fingers crossed that's pretty much the end of it for the summer, and hopefully we'll get some good weather. That would be ideal. Now I'm going to go and feed my New Zealand white rabbits. There is a bit of a story to those, and there's a bit of a reason why I'm keeping them separate. So if you want to watch that video, keep an eye out for it. It will be coming out on the next time that I do a video. So I hope you've enjoyed this wee jaunt around the farm. It's not all of it, but it is the chores that I do in the mornings. We feed all the chickens at night time. If you've enjoyed this, hit the like button. It would really do us a favour if you do. You don't even need to subscribe to be useful. You can just hit the like button, and that's really helpful for us. Thanks so much for watching. I'll catch you in the next one.